Hello and welcome. Today we will work on sleeves or Sleevils. I heard that one from a channel called And So It Begins. This name is so menacing, you should definitely check her out. Her content is really cool. I'll link her down in the description. But before we start, join the Bacon family and let me know in the comments what would you like to learn next. I will try my best not to confuse you even more. Let's make some sleeves! You can download the free PDF file on my Facebook group, link in the description as usual. All the guidelines are dotted so they are easier to see. These steps are based on the method created by Suzy Furrer, and this is the one I found the easiest so far. So if you have any other interesting methods, let me know in the comments below. First, we need to prepare our bodice sloper. Move the front shoulder dart to the side dart. If you have a cup size of D or more, don't remove it completely, just reduce it to half of its measurement for a better fit. Measure the armhole. On the back, decide if you will keep the shoulder dart or not, and measure the armhole as well. I will remove the shoulder dart just for fun. Add 1/4 of an inch to the shoulder length for ease. Measure 3.5 inches from the armpit and mark 1 notch on the front and 2 on the back. That is all we will need for now. The measurements. You will need to measure from the shoulder to the elbow. Your subject needs to put their hand on the hip bone for you to get that true measurement. And you need to measure from bone to bone. That is on a slight curve, don't worry. Now from the elbow to the wrist bone, the elbow breadth. For the biceps, make your subject slightly touch their shoulder with the tip of their fingers like a fancy Egyptian royal and measure the thickest part of the upper arm, the wrist circumference, and the hand measure with the thumb tucked like this.
What are you doing? Are you being cute? Yes? Are you cute? Are you cute? You're being cute. Are you going to belly trap me? You're going to belly trap me, but I can't resist it. Belly trap me. All the scratches, all the scratches, all the scratches in the belly trap.
The guidelines. Draw one long straight line measuring the total sleeve length in the middle of your paper for reference. The right side will be the front of your sleeve and the left side will be the back. On the top, mark 1 3/4 down to mark your sleeve square. Add your front and back armhole measurements plus the ease that you wish to add. She recommends 1/2 inch for dresses and 1 inch for coats and jackets, and no ease for stretchy fabrics such as knits. Now refer to the chart in the PDF file and draw 2 squares next to each other, 1 to each side of the line. Below that rectangle, mark 5/8 of an inch and square a guideline for the biceps. On the bottom, square a line measuring the same as the total length of your rectangle and join those dots. From the top, mark your elbow length and square a guideline as well. The lines. On the front, mark 1/3 of the outer square line and find the middle of the bottom square line. On the back, mark half of the outer square line and find the point where the biceps guideline meets the central guideline. Connect those dots and find the middle point. From there, square a 1/2 inch guideline down. Now, join all of those dots on a curve, forming a very sad and distressed looking circle. Fold the paper like so and trace these lines with the spiky thingies so we can transfer these bottom curves to the outside. Mark where the lines end so you don't make them bigger than they should be. Okay, now one little tricky thing. The front part of the sleeve is smaller than the back usually, so we need to move that middle marking of the top of the sleeve cap to the front. To do that, calculate the difference between the front and back armholes, already including the ease that you added, and shift that spot to the right, but to a maximum of 3/4 of an inch only. More than that will distort too much. From that new point, measure the calculated front and back armholes, adding half of the calculated ease to the front and half to the back, and adjust the end of the lines if necessary. Extend the biceps guideline to meet those points. True up those curves using your sloper by placing it on top of the sleeve and adjusting the curves so they match perfectly. A little warning here, don't allow the curves to go below the biceps guideline, otherwise you have too much hole. Now the wrist. Add 3 inches east to the wrist measurement you have and mark that measurement on the wrist guideline half to each side of the center guideline. Connect those dots and extend the elbow guidelines to meet those new lines.
Ooh, target acquired. Look at that.
No, you are not going outside. And besides, he's bigger than you. Don't eat my plant. No. No plant eating. No.
The quarter lines. We need to shift the sleeve at the elbow to allow it to follow the natural arm curves, because unless you are a soldier, I don't think any of you here goes out and about with straight arms 100% of the time. On the wrist line, shift an industry standard of 3/4 of an inch to the front part of the sleeve and divide that base into 4 equal pieces. Now connect the outer left line from the elbow to the new end of the sleeve, from the middle of the back square to the second quarter, from the shifted top middle to the third quarter, from the 1/3 front square marking to the fourth quarter, and finally from the front elbow to the end of the wrist line. These quarter lines are important because this is where most of the magic happens. To check if everything is correct, measure the wrist, elbow, and biceps lines to ensure they are at least the same measurement as your body. Normally with this type of drafting, they should surpass it, and it is great if they do, but in case they don't, add a little bit to those points and don't worry if your sleeve looks rounder than mine. Now fold the sleeve in half to check if those 2 seams line up. Notch the elbow lines, the front and back curves, and the top of the cap. The grain lines should be parallel to the upper part of the front of the sleeve or right in the middle line, but you can play around depending on the project you are preparing. So now you have your sleeve sloper to make all of those pesky sleeves that you want. I myself used to hate sleeves until the Rapunzel Disney bound, because those sleeves were amazing. Thank you so much for watching. If you like sewing shenanigans and crazy fashion projects, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye. Sleevils.